this is Mr. Kindle. I am going to design a custom chamber today. I have an idea, so a lot of my ideas are, they come to me a little bit organically. I just sort of think about them. Sometimes it's just thinking about, like, I'll be thinking about an element in Portal 2 and wondering if I can do a thing with it. Logically, of course, I want it to be logical. I want it to be within the Portals 2 scope of operations, their functionality that Portal 2 allows you to do without, being a glitch or a gimmick or some sort of exploit. So sometimes it'll just come to me like some logical ideology. The other thing is sometimes I'll just be watching, I'll be watching a playthrough and I'll see an element or I'll see a particular piece of a puzzle and I'll have an idea on how to improve it or maybe expand upon it and sometimes change it to be something different. Sometimes that works out, sometimes I just discard a puzzle because the idea doesn't have merit, it doesn't seem logical, or it seems too convoluted or silly. Some things are just like that sometimes. In this particular case, this is one of these ones where I've just sort of had an idea. It's an idea I've had before, it's just a different idea based on some other designs I have made, and I've been kind of slowly thinking about it, and today I decided I wanted to do some work on it and at least get some sort of framework up on it, some foundation to the puzzle, without, obviously revealing the puzzle because I'd like to publish it at some point. Yeah, it goes into how my design process is. I'm a big fan of logical puzzles. I'm not a fan of Mario puzzles. I'm not a fan of elements that are all about challenging you rather than making you think like a logical puzzle does. So if something is challenging my reflexes or challenging my ability to time things properly, I'm gonna fail. I just don't care. It's not a matter of I can't do it. I just don't care. I don't care to put in that time. I'm not a guy who's going to spend hours and hours and hours trying to defeat the villain in things like Elden Ring or Dark Souls. I feel like I have better things to do with my time, and I do those things. And so as a result, I don't really feel like that challenge is for me, so I don't do it. I'm not saying that other people are invalidated because they do that. I don't. I just say those are not my puzzles. They're not my things. They're not things I do. I don't care about those. I like thinking things. I like things where I have to think through the solutions. Or does it require a lot of reflexes? It requires a lot of tactical thinking or strategic thinking, but doesn't require reflexes and having to hit the right pixel or some dumb stuff like that I find ridiculously time consuming and unnecessary. So in the past when I was a kid, of course I played these kind of games, but as an adult now, as a much older adult, I don't particularly care for those kind of things anymore. They're just not in my, they're not in my repertoire. They're not even in my, my bailiwick of what I would prefer. Instead, I like things that are logical and think through. And this is how I design chambers. So these ideas come to me very organically. So this one came to me, I would say it came to me this morning while I was sitting here thinking. It was like, oh yeah, I would like to design that. So I've done a puzzle like this before. It's called it's basically it's like a three-part switch. It's kind of fun to do them because they give you a sort of idea that you have a solution when you don't really have a solution because there's a third part to it, so it's a three-part switch. A good example of this is like the farmer who has the fox, the hen, and I think it's grain or corn, I don't remember. Whereas if he has a boat, he has to cross a river. It's that simple puzzle where you have three parts. You have a fox, you have a hen, you have a bag of grain, I would say, and you can't leave the grain with the chicken because it'll eat the grain. You can't leave the fox with the hen because it will eat the hen. But you could leave the fox with the grain because the fox doesn't care about the grain. The problem is, of course, you have to get all three of them across the river with a single boat, which will only hold the farmer and one other thing. So yeah, this is a three-part problem. It's solvable, um, but it requires some thinking, logical thinking to get through. Very simple puzzle in that regard. And what I'm going to do is to put that kind of simple puzzle into a chamber so that it has this three-part switch. Um, and that is, following a philosophy I have about how to design chambers that I've learned over time. I've learned them from people that I admire that are designers like Mevius, and a few of the others that are out there that I'm doing injustice by not recalling them, but I like all of them. There are quite a few of them. Fumbly Bumbly, I think, is one of them. They have very well thought out, well designed chambers that don't have any more than they need to accomplish the goal of solving the chamber. But you have to think about it. It will have elements that you have to think through. And that's what I enjoy about chambers, and that's what I want to design. I want to get to that design state. And so I have three fundamentals that I use when I design, and I will be using these here, which is it must be purely logical, it must be within the engine's capability to do without being an exploit, a bug, a glitch, some goofy thing that the engine does that is unnecessary. Floating cubes, don't want to do those. Putting cubes to the side of buttons because you know that the corner of the cube can hold that button down, I don't like that. Like, I want this to be, you have to fully engage in the puzzle as it's fully meant to be. I don't want any like edging or anything like that that just makes it sort of goofy. Like, I don't think that there needs to be a mechanic that you have to exploit or otherwise glitch your way through in order to solve a puzzle. Otherwise, it's not logical. Now it's just a challenge of figuring out what's the thing you don't know and making it break or making it do a thing it's not supposed to do. That's not the same thing as a logical chamber. So my chamber should be logical. At the same time, I understand that you can make jumping puzzles and things like that. That's part of what Portal 2 is, but it's completely unnecessary. So I will stick to just logical puzzles. So that's my first caveat when I design. The second thing is I like the obvious. I like things to be obvious. I like the fact that you can see everything. You can see the exit, you can see everything that you can do, but it's not entirely clear what to do. I think there are people that are brilliant at that. I can think of several maps that Mevius has made where it's brilliant, where you can see that you need to use an element, you have no idea what it's there for. And you have to figure that out logically, and once you do, you're like, oh, I got it. Now I understand. So it's that epiphany moment that you want to have where you're like, oh, I was looking at things that looked like the obvious solution of what I needed to solve this, but this thing off to the side of this thing that I've been ignoring is the solution I need to use. It looks like it's completely irrelevant, but it isn't. And I love putting those in chambers. I call this hidden in plain sight. I like the idea of things that are hidden right there in plain sight. For you to know they're there, for you to not know how to use them properly. Instead, you're focused on the solution as you can see it, rather than the solution as it's meant to be solved. And sometimes that obvious solution isn't the solution you're looking for. It could be part of the solution, but it won't be the solution. Obviously, that is hiding, I love putting it right where you can see it, like it's right next to you. You can look right at it, or it's right behind you. You can just turn around and there it is. But you ignore it because you don't think it's the solution. And so I like that in puzzles, so the obvious. So the third thing I like is consistency in a puzzle. The consistency is only use what is necessary to solve the puzzle. Don't add more elements than you need. I'm in favor of less elements is better. If you can put the least amount of elements you can in there and still have a puzzle that's very challenging, that's great. In fact, I'm a very minimalist sort of designer, so I don't even like large chambers. I think if a chamber is made too large just to make it work, it just sort of it feels like it's just a lot of running around, where half the puzzle is just running around trying to get from point A to point B instead of actually solving the puzzle. So I try to keep them as small as I possibly can. I usually go with 3x3 squares, as much as you need to pull off the thing that you need to do. So every 3x3 square is pretty much an element. And if you are going beyond the 3x3 squares, adding 6 more 3x3 squares to get to a second element, then you're like, oh, well, why do I have all this space? Is it necessary? So that's just a favor of minimalism, keeping my design elements to the minimal amount, not only in chamber size, but also in the elements that are in that chamber. I like to remove elements if I can. The more I can remove and still have a good puzzle, the better. Sometimes it's not obvious to me. Sometimes I have to run a test. Some players will play through it. They'll figure out, oh, I don't even need this element. Then I remove that element because now I realize that element was just unnecessary. That's happened on a couple of my puzzles. And they just make them better. I mean, let's be honest, you know how to solve your puzzle and you think it gets solved one way, but other people are going to approach your puzzle from different directions. Sometimes they're going to have a solution that you just didn't see. They'll take it to what I call states. So I think everything in these kind of puzzles is like a state diagram, where you have states that you can enter into, and you need those states to only be able to enter into the specific other states that you want it to enter to, so that there's only one solution. There's only going to be one state, series of states, I should say, or states that will lead to one solution to your puzzle. I suppose you could have two solutions to the puzzle. I think I've had a couple like that where they're functionally the same, but you still want it to be relatively within the same realm of solution, so that when that state is entered, that's the only way that that state can be solved, the final state of your state diagram. So with that in mind, like I said, I'm going to try to make this logical. I'm going to try to make it obvious because I feel like I got an idea for how to make it obvious, and I'm definitely going to use as few elements as I possibly can. That said, I know generally what I want. I have this idea, it's pictured in my head of what I want the design to look like. So let's get started. So first off, I want this to be sort of a big T. Now, how big do I want this T to be? Well, again, remember, I want 3x3 sections. So these 3x3 sections are going to have elements. So this is going to be, this element here, I'm going to say is going to be an exit. Let's call that an exit. Let's get rid of that. By that token, I also want an entrance. I want it to be, I want the entrance to be on the other side. So I already know that I want to have this gap below I definitely want it to be hard to navigate. So I want it to be either full of goo or an empty space. I haven't figured out that yet. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with goo. Goo is one of my favorite things because it forces people not to drop into spaces. So with that in mind, since I needed 3x3, I don't really need that much room, because I think the only thing I'm going to do over here in the 3x3 is to include exit buttons. There will be some panels over here, so let me think. Do I want panels to be far out? And I probably do. So this might become a little wider and a little narrower. Yeah, let's just kind of do that. All right, with that in mind, then I also want to have, I think, a 3x3 area here, because I want this to be a T. So I want it to be sort of like, let's do this. So I want it to be like this T. Not quite like that, but you're getting the idea of what I want. And I can put this back out like this. I want there to be 3 portable areas. And I feel like that's only going to give me 2. So I wanted one in the middle. Okay, so let me think about this. So more 3x3 areas, but now I'm rethinking this because I want a portable area here, 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 portable area here, and a portable area here. So I'm just thinking through things. Then over here, I want to have, okay, I need this to get the thing out. And So I'm a bit of, I like symmetry a lot, so I don't want this to be here now. Okay. So I feel like what I want here, this is relatively correct. I don't need this area over here, so let's just put that there. So with that in mind, then I want to have I want this to be, I want it this way. So I definitely want to have a funnel, but I'm trying to decide which direction I want it to go, because I'm also going to want this to be right about here, actually. Yeah, maybe. Actually, maybe this needs to go here. It's either here or here. I think here. So here. Yeah. Then I could have a platform that comes out to there. Yeah. So I guess that's okay. All right. So I'm just thinking through what I wanted to do here. So I definitely want to have that. So I'm going to put the portable surface there. I think I want it to start reversed, I think. Not 100% sure about that. So I feel like this area here might need to be farther back. Because of that. Maybe not. All right, let me think about this. Let me think about this, because I want this to be that. So what was so the idea I have is this triple switch. So for that I need that there. Yeah, maybe that there. Not entirely sure if that's what I want yet. If that's there, then no, that's not going to work. Okay, so that's not what I want. I want it to be here. Okay, then I need, we're going to say for now it's a glass panel. We're going to put it here. Again, this is just a foundational design. Is that going to work? No. No, that's not what I want. What I want is it this one? No, this one allows a cube through, so I don't want the one that allows a cube through. What's the one that doesn't allow you to shoot through it or to maintain a portal through it? Is this it? I don't remember. Let me throw a bunch of these down so I can have some sort of light in here, just for a moment. Okay, so this is not meant to be the solid state. It's just sort of me messing around. Okay, this is fine. I just want to see if that works. So I'm just gonna see if I can shoot through this portal. That's, oh, I should have put a cube in there as well. All right, well, that's fine. I'll get a cube in there a little later. Doesn't matter here. There's gonna be 2 cubes, but the cubes are gonna come later. It's more of the design at this point of what do I want it to do. So I can shoot through this, so that is not what I want. Okay, so that is not the one I want. Not really sure which one I want yet. Let's put a cube here. Doesn't really matter. What is, so that one allows, this one allows me to shoot through, but I can't pass through. This one will fizzle the cube. It allows me to preserve a portal on the far side of it. Maybe this is the one I want. Green allows me to go through. I don't think I can even shoot through this one. And then these are life form sensor, death fizzler. Okay. I don't think this is what I want either. I think what I want to do here is I want to find, maybe the yellow one's one, can't pass through it, but I can pass through it. I don't know that I want to be able to pass through it. I want it to be that you can't shoot it, you can't pass through it. Maybe you can pass through it, you can shoot through it, but can't pass through it. This one, you cannot pass through. I don't think you can bring it through. So it's just basically, this is just basically a glass wall. And that you can deactivate. I don't want one that's deactivatable. So that's not what I want. Is the orange one the one I want? I can shoot through it, but I can't pass through it. I don't think the cube can pass through it either. I don't want to pass through it, but maybe I'm okay with shooting through. No, okay, I need to think. I don't want to have the ability to shoot that. Okay, so that allows me to not shoot through that, but pass through it. Okay, so that shoot through it, but this doesn't. Okay, so I think this is the one I want. I don't want to be able to shoot through it. So I think I need the yellow. All right, that's where I'm going first. That will fizzle a cube. Rather than me to pass through. Okay. All right. And then over here, over here, let me think this through, because this is gonna be like this, and then this is gonna be like this. Pretty sure that's gonna be glass. Nope. That is going to be this. Did you pass through? Maybe. Okay, so if that's like that, I'm not saying this is where I'm at, I'm just making this observation because I can't. Can I shoot through this? I don't remember. So then when I'm over here, the only thing I can shoot is that one there. So all of these are going to be green. So the only purpose of that is to shoot through over there, but this would have to be this as well. And then there would need to be creating one over here. Triple switch. Um, hmm. All right, so the idea. This is not going to be a triple switch if I do this. So this needs to be like that. And this one over here needs to be like this. I think this is the triple switch. Okay, so just the wrong things. So while I could shoot over to there, I could not get through. Correct. So don't need that. All right. So with that being the case, then I could still get over to there with this, unless there was some reason I couldn't. So, all right, so let me think. So the idea is that I need to have that over here. So in order to get this cube over to there, all right, so there are going to be a couple buttons. I don't know where the buttons are going to rest at the moment, but I have a feeling they're going to be in sort of a configuration similar to this. So what happens if I have a way to get up there and a way to get down from here? Okay, so maybe this is what I want. Doesn't really matter, I just want to have two things to each side. However, I want them to be a little bit more obvious than they are. Yeah. Does that work? And then I do the same thing over here. Does that work? Maybe. Maybe. So the idea is if I have a cube that's, let's say, here, it's dropping into there, and then I have a cube that is let's just say it's here, dropping into this. something, so you can pull that over to there and then get yourself over there fairly easily. So the idea is, in order to get yourself over to here, you have to be able to I don't want it to be shoot through. You can't shoot through it. So let's just do this for now. No, make it class. Just for now. Let me see. If I was up here, can I can't. When I'm down here, I can, if I wanted to. So how do I make it so that there isn't a way to see that? Let me think. Let me think. Is there a way to make this less problematic? I don't know. I know that this is unreachable somehow. So this might be one of those things where there might be multi-levels here to get this to work. Okay. This usually means that this part of the ceiling will probably need to be higher to get this up to here. Maybe? I don't know. We'll think about that. All right, so with that in mind, yeah, with that in mind, let's go and put this in place. I think this is what I want. Okay. So, it's getting to the point where you can't hit this from over here. And that's kind of what I want, so we'll see how this works out. So, but you can't hit it from over here. Doesn't help you get over there. Okay, so this three-part switch is starting to come together. I think that gives me what I want to start with. So, I need this to actually be this. So I think I need that, and I want that to to change its polarity. Okay, and then I want change its polarity, but it's going to be not there, but here. So it'll change its polarity. Okay. Then I'm debating on this one. I might need that triple switch, so it's going to be a switch. Oh God. Okay. I feel like these are not what I wanted to do. And what I really want to do is this. Okay. Let's try that. All right. So that can't be shot through, and that can't be shot through. Okay, I think this is the concept. Okay, so I'm not sure what the other buttons are going to be used for at the moment, so let's just remove them. Because at this point, I'm only interested in what the current strategy is. So this is the idea. We have a triple switch, which is going to require some manipulation between the three portable surfaces on each side. That will then eventually lead to the final solution, which is to open the door, which I will require both cubes to do. So none of the cubes are going to start on the one side, and getting the cubes to the other side is going to be part of the challenge. It is just going to be a matter of what do I want all the other buttons to actually do. So at this point, it's just an experimentation. I can't shoot through this. This is exactly what I want, but I can step through this. And I can shoot there. I could have already just done that by shooting through. So what I'll do is I will remove this, and this will become a 3/4 thing, so you can't stand at the edge. So that leaves me with this, which I believe I cannot pass through, but cubes can pass through. Now I could still go over here and do this. So now I have no ability to shoot over to there, but I can get myself up into here. So what's the point? That's a good thing. I don't know if these are going to be separated in some way. This is just an initial idea. And the initial idea goes that I can drop down here, but I can't get through there. So this is not the initial state I want to be in. I can't shoot this. Right? So, since that's not allowed, I did that wrong. So let's just restart this level, because now I want to see if I get the cube over and take the cube with me, I can then get the cube to push. Okay, so that's kind of what I wanted to do. So that I can get back over to here. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to come over here, and I want to be able to push it that one over, which I can't do at the moment, but I can pull it by doing that. So this will bring the first cube over. That should cause me any issue, because I cannot bring that cube over. This cube can now be brought over to there. myself away. So I think I've got the idea of this. So this idea is that I bring myself over to here, and then I play this here, and then I just drop this down into that. Of course, dropping it down into that is just doing this. However, I need to have the ability, so I don't have the ability to get rid of that, so I think what I need to do is to drop down. Ooh, is that what I want to do? Because if I drop down, nope, drop down's fine. Okay, so I want to drop down, and then I need a way to deactivate that. This is not going to work. Yeah, so this is the general idea, but you can see that I'm building this 3-switch puzzle. And you can see the general idea that I'm going for, which is getting cubes behind here so that they can be aligned in the appropriate way. So this is the general idea. This is where I'm at. I'm not going to show you the rest of this design, but you can see I still have a puzzle with trying to get this cube, which can be done by, I could have done that right up here by pushing this into there and bringing it up here, and I would have had both cubes. But the problem I'm having right now is how do I do the thing I want to do here? And I think what I want to do is I want to put it back in the middle. Maybe back behind the pillar. I don't know. This button is going to be not in line so that I can eventually move it to a different state, get the push through, come back over to there, but I won't be able to bring the second cube. So the second cube will sit over here, but then I can bring it over to here. So the idea is if both cubes are already over here, I could just get out. So I have to figure out a way not to have both cubes over here, and that is kind of why the button needs to be in line here. So I need to think this through on what I want it to do. So I think what I want it to do is I want it to be dropped down. There's another weird way. Hold on a minute. So I just found another bizarre way to make this work, which I'm not happy with. So this is just preliminary, so you can see what I'm trying to achieve, but I've also screwed it up. So that screw up is essentially I can do this. Once that's over here, I can do this. And then I do that? Because I can do this, but that actually doesn't help. Okay, so I do have what I want out of this. I want it to be where you cannot connect these two chambers easily. So I've got that. So connecting the two chambers is going to require that, but in a way, I can activate this. Okay, so basic idea. I'm right on the right track. I know I'm on the right track. But one simple test here will help out with this. Okay, so we bring the cube over, and then I want to bring the cube over to here, but also have the ability to hit that. Okay, so that should bring the other cube through. Then I should be able to drop this cube down to here. And then I have another cube here which I could use for something else. Okay. So I can actually get both cubes across with this though, by simply having a way to deactivate it. But instead, I think I'm going to have a button over here that will do something. Alright, so that's what this second cube is going to be. It's how you get your second cube. Don't need this cube at that point, so something with a button over here to keep that cube involved. Alright, so yeah, I have the general idea of what I want to do. But what it is at this point is this 3-part switch. So you can tell I got a 3-part switch going, and that is the preliminary design of this chamber. I'm not going to go into further detail on this chamber because that would give away a solution. So obviously I can't go through that at the moment. That sucks for me, but I do need a way to get back over to this side, which is usually by using one of these two. I can't do it here because this is in line with that pillar. So the only other way to possibly do it is through this thing here. So the only solution at this point is to figure out what I want to do with the other two buttons. I don't think I'm going to have more than 2 more buttons. They're going to probably deactivate fizzlers. But there'll be a button here, there'll be a button here, there'll be a button here, and then there will be 2 buttons to get out of the chamber. So at some point you'll need to get the 2 cubes over here and up into a platform that has that. But at the moment, this is just a preliminary sort of idea for a puzzle. It's a T, it's not huge, and it does exactly what I want it to do with the minimal amount of elements, which will probably be 3 buttons plus probably 2 exit buttons or whatever I decide I'm going to do with that. So I haven't really figured out what I want to do at the exit, but at the moment I know it's going to be a 2-cube puzzle. I color both cubes so that they'll be individual. There won't be any lasers. It would just simply be a cube solution at this point. I'm gonna try to make it so that it doesn't require destruction of a cube, but that's gonna be left open to debate. Yeah, because in order to push a cube, it's going to have to require it to be pushed through here, and the only way to push a cube is from this over here. In order to push it, you have to have something on this button, but you can't have something on this button and push it, so that should be fine. The same is true over here. I could push something over here, because this one right here is in line with that, and pushing it is going to push it into there, which is only going to create a fizzled cube anyhow, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so that's it. I'm not going to do any more on this at the moment. This is another thing. I'm not a big fan of the cube jumping, but yeah, sometimes it's necessary. Jumping on cubes, but sometimes it's necessary. I think it's actually part of solutions now, and I don't dislike it as much as I used to, since I'm now more aware of it being in puzzles. But anyways, that is all I'm going to do for today. Thanks for watching. I will try to get this done in a couple weeks. My time is kind of limited, but yeah. I could spend about an hour on this for the next few weeks in a few of those days, and probably come up with what I wanted to do.